On this episode of China Uncensored, no more torture! Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Hey, great news, guys. China's Supreme People's Court said they want to end extracting confessions through torture. And let's see, it's only 2013. Just 7 years after they banned reincarnation. They sure do have their priorities straight. The announcement said interrogation by torture and extracting a confession, as well as the use of freezing, hunger, drying, scorching, fatigue, and other illegal methods to obtain a confession from the accused must be eliminated. Notice they said illegal means. That's because, according to Chinese law, torture is illegal. They've just been using it anyways. Wow, great job, Supreme People's Court, finally getting around to telling the legal system to follow the law. I mean, look, you don't need to torture people to get confessions. The Supreme People's Court already has an almost perfect conviction rate anyway, 99.9% in 2011, according to them, so the whole torture thing is really just adding insult to injury. Injury to injury. Of course, there are two little problems with this. One is that it's the Communist Party who controls the courts, so what the Supreme People's Court says in one announcement via their microblog doesn't really count for much. In fact, the court has said the same thing in 2010, that they were going to stop allowing evidence obtained through torture. But the other, much larger problem is that it's not the courts that are torturing people. It's the police and the security forces. Now, in China, the police and the entire security apparatus are a separate and much, much more powerful entity than the courts. So essentially, this reform, just announced by the Supreme People's Court, probably won't accomplish much. It's the security apparatus that's the problem. And this system includes the public security, i.e. the police, and the state security, kind of like your CIA and FBI all rolled into one. So whoever controls this security system controls the country. And this is what most people forget. The Communist Party isn't a unified front. It's a vast network of competing interest groups all vying for power. The way to get power is to control the army and the security forces. And since top leaders can never really escape from the party, they have two choices. Grow in power even as they enter senility, as some people have done, or get purged. As for the confessions through torture, let's just say if there's one thing party officials fear more than a well-informed public, it's other party officials. That's where Shuanggui comes in. That's the ultra-shady internal disciplinary system of the Communist Party. It exists outside the realm of the government and law, which is why just this April, after 38 days of detention, party member and chief engineer for a state-owned firm, UTE, died after he accidentally drowned when 6 officials, not police mind you, but officials, held him upside down in an icy bucket of water. Torture to extract confessions. So will that be a thing of the past? I don't know. Technically, the Shuanggui has nothing to do with the courts. And if anything, in the actual judicial system, confessions are becoming more, not less common. In the past few months, there's been a surge of Chinese citizens coming before cameras on state-run television and confessing to crimes that sometimes they hadn't even been charged with. There's been 6 since August. That was a favorite tactic of Mao during the Cultural Revolution because it is so much easier to torture people into public confessions rather than going through the hassle of a trial. Of course, being encouraged to make a public confession is totally different from using torture to get a confession to use as evidence in court. Thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.